Hey, it's Brian, back with another Ber Months bonus episode for those of us who get an early start on the Christmas season. But then again, maybe you're listening to this episode during the Christmas season. That's the magic of podcasts. We're here whenever you're ready. Either way, I'm happy to have you, and I hope you're happy, healthy, and feeling the Christmas spirit. Today, we're returning to an old crowd favorite, a game of Christmas trivia in the form of two truths and a lie. That's where the trivia questions are posed as multiple choice questions where there's only one incorrect answer. And today's game has a few things about it that have me especially excited. In the first place, I'm teaming up with two of my favorite Christmas podcasters, Todd Killian from Christmas Clatter and Gerry Davilla from Totally Rad Christmas. In the second place, the theme of this game is Christmas in the 80s. And finally, this game has a little twist. The game is played in 3 rounds, but you'll only hear one of those rounds here on Christmas Past. So here's how it all works. You're about to hear round 1 of the game. All of the questions are about Christmas from 1980 to 1983. I will be the quizmaster for this round, testing Todd and Gerry's Christmas spirit and knowledge of the best decade ever. For every question they get correct, they earn a point. No points are deducted for incorrect answers. And if I'm able to stump them both, I earn a point. At the end of this episode, I'll send you over to Christmas Clatter for round 2, where Todd will play Quizmaster with questions about Christmas of 1984 to 1986, and finally, for round 3, you'll head over to Totally Rad Christmas, where Gerry quizzes Todd and me about Christmas of 1987 to 89. You'll be taken through the entire decade while getting to sample the styles of 3 different Christmas podcasts, and we hope also have a lot of fun and maybe learn a tidbit or two. It'll be like a little adventure. Now, it doesn't really matter what order you listen to the episodes in. Obviously, the point tallies begin here in round 1, but there are no other references that depend on the other episodes to make sense. So, if you're ready, put on your thinking cap and get ready to match wits with me, Todd, and Gerry. I'll be back at the end to wrap up and say goodbye, but for now, here comes round 1 of Christmas Trivia, 2 Truths and a Lie, 80s edition. All right, Todd and Gerry, the first question comes from Christmas of 1981. That's the year that George Burns hosted his first ever Christmas special. Here are 3 things about that special. One of them is the lie. Was it A, it was released 10 days before Thanksgiving, which was unheard of at the time? B, it was the first and only time that George Burns ever appeared on television without his trademark cigar? Or C, the show featured appearances from several Playboy playmates?
Boy, 81. I'm going to go with, what's that, Gerry?
No, I was just going to say I was a little too young to remember this one, and I haven't caught it since. But now I kind of want to do it for my show. I think those are all very convincing statements.
I'm leaning towards the being aired 10 days before Thanksgiving.
I'm actually leaning towards the cigar.
And just to remind you two and everyone listening, you're saying that the airing 10 days before Thanksgiving is the thing that is not true, correct?
Right. That is the lie.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
I think it is the only time he appeared without his trademark cigar.
All right. Well, you guys both sounded pretty confident in your answers. So is it time to lock these in?
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. Then I am pleased to announce that for the first question of the first round of the first game of 2 Truths and a Lie during the Ber Months, we can award a single point to Gerry.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Wow.
Already starting better than last time.
And as a matter of fact, the fact that it was released 10 days before Thanksgiving was actually part of it. It was called George Burns's early Christmas special. And did actually feature several appearances from Playboy playmates. I don't know if they were still called bunnies back then or what, but that's how it was marketed. All right. Question number 2. The 1981 song Christmas Wrapping by the Waitresses is considered one of the best Christmas pop songs of all. So here are 3 things about that song. Spot the lie. A, the title is actually a nod to the 1979 rap song Christmas Rappin' by the rapper Curtis Blow. B, the band didn't want to write the song and ended up hastily throwing it together by assembling unused riffs. Or C, many shopping malls refuse to play the song because of its obvious anti-Christmas message?
Oh, wow. That's
yeah, that's man.
long
That's a good
pause
one.
there.
I
I really don't know much about this song. So I've been on record saying that most of my Christmas music experience is from the Time Life Treasury of Christmas. So this one was definitely not on there. I think it's the latter. I think it's choice C. The malls didn't want to play it.
Okay.
I'm gonna go with I'll go with the second one, that the band did not want to write it. I believe that would be the lie.
And shall we confirm these?
Yes.
Yes.
All right. Then I am pleased to announce for the second question of the first round, et cetera, I can award a point to Gerry.
Oh, my mercy.
Yeah. Yeah, actually, no, the band just did want to write the song. It was the label pressured them to do it. One of the singers actually wrote the lyrics in the cab on the way over to the studio, and they just had some riffs left over from previous songwriting sessions that they just patched together, and voila.
Nice.
Actually,
and I knew that it actually was based on Christmas Rappin' by Curtis Blow.
Yeah.
That one I actually knew.
I should have known better. It's actually one of my favorite Christmas songs.
Oh, nice.
At least like top, I say favorite, at least top 15-ish, you know.
It is a really good Christmas and a very, very, very 80s Christmas song.
Yes,
Yes, it is.
It just makes you happy. So that bass line just makes you happy.
Okay, question number 3 is sort of a Christmas question. It's more of a toy question. The Rubik's Cube was actually invented in 1975, so I'm being a little sneaky here, but it wasn't the mass market product we all recognize today until 1980. And then it was the hottest selling toy for Christmas. So here are 3 things about it. A, Emmanuel Lewis's character was shown solving a cube on an episode of Webster, which triggered a lawsuit alleging the exposure of trade secrets. Was it B, the cube was originally developed as a teaching tool for architectural students? Or C, ABC Television developed a Saturday morning cartoon called Rubik the Amazing Cube?
A.
Yes.
You both say A?
It's definitely A.
All right, and you're both definitely correct. So Todd is finally on the board.
Finally.
All right. And just to recap, we're 3-1. I have yet to score a point. And to remind everyone how that would work, if I stump both Todd and Gerry, I would earn a point. I have yet to do so. Let's see if I can change my luck with question 4. In 1982, there was a Christmas cartoon special called Santa Comes to Pac-Land, where Pac-Man has to save Christmas. Here are 3 things about that. Spot the lie. A, the character of Pac-Baby was voiced by Russie Taylor, who is best known as the voice of Minnie Mouse. B, in the special, the thing that Pac-Man actually does to save Christmas is that he feeds some of those Pac-Man power pellets to Santa's reindeer. Or C, none of the familiar Pac-Man sound effects can be heard in the special because using them would involve an extra licensing agreement.
Oh, man, I haven't seen this one in years. I don't remember how he actually saves Christmas.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Mike Westfall is going to be so mad at me. Oh gosh, I honestly have no clue, so I'm just going to straight up guess here because they all sound very convincing. So I'm going to go with C. I think it's C.
The licensing thing kind of threw me off. I was gonna go with C from the get-go because it just sounded off to me.
Okay, so you're both saying C?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
And you're both correct.
Yay!
Yay!
All right.
So you have seen this special, Gerry.
I have, but it's been years. And I planned on covering it at some point, but it's one of those that I don't remember it very fondly. And so I've been pushing it off a long ways.
I have to say it's a little better than I expected it to be. I think the first time I saw it was just a few years ago.
Oh, okay.
And I tend to like those cheesy 80s. I remember a couple years ago, a bunch of us other Christmas podcasters got together to review the Glow Friends Save Christmas.
Oh,
and
nice.
Everyone hated it, but I actually like it in its own way, right? I think it just triggers those feelings from being in that time.
Yeah,
definitely. And there's something about the coloring scheme as well that I find just charming.
Right. Yeah. And I think the style of animation, animation nowadays, we're used to seeing it in a certain way, but the old 2D hand-drawn kind of feel, I don't know, it just kind of brings me back.
Yeah, same here.
Speaking of bringing us back, we're going back to 1982 for question 5. So Garfield Garfield the cat, was so popular in the early 80s that the 1982 Sears Wish Book had a 5-page spread of items entirely dedicated to Garfield, including not which of these items, I should say. A book titled Garfield's Lasagna Recipes for Kids to Make. B, Garfield the Board Game. Or C, a plush Garfield dressed in jogging attire.
Oh boy. I'm going to go with the lasagna cookbook because I
think so too. I mean, Garfield, well, you know what though? Garfield is he didn't really like to do a whole lot. So the jogging attire is kind of suspicious, but
that sounds familiar to me for some reason.
Me too. I can picture it. I don't know if it's real, but it does.
Yeah.
There's like some sort of disconnect there, but I think it's actually the lasagna as well.
Okay, we're locking those in.
I'm going. Yes.
Okay, well, I guess I am a bad liar so far in this game because you both earned a point. You spotted the lie. There was no Garfield lasagna cookbook.
I wish there was. That sounds amazing, actually.
I was in the town where I live. There are a lot of those little free libraries, those boxes people put in front of their house, like take a book, leave a book. I actually found a comic strip version of the Garfield Christmas. So the TV special that came out, there's a comic book version of it that I was just on a walk with Baby Dash and found that. And now that's in my little Christmas book collection.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
That's cool.
Yeah. Okay, let's see. Now we're going to question 6. So we're halfway through round 1 after this one. And now we're going to talk about E.T. So E.T. was wildly popular at the box office, and E.T. toys and other merch were top sellers in Christmas of 1982. Of course, there was also an E.T. video game available that year for the Atari 2600 console, which I had, by the way, and we can talk about that.
Oh, no.
Spot the lie. Was it A, the game sold so poorly that Atari ended up dumping truckloads of unsold game cartridges into a landfill? Was it B, game designer Howard Warshaw said in a 2008 interview that the game contained an Easter egg, meaning an unexpected feature that nobody had discovered yet, at least as of 2008? Or was it C, there is a major flaw in the way the game was coded so that every time E.T. gets close to one of the many pits featured on the screen, he would fall into that pit?
So I know C is true.
Okay.
I don't remember if there was an undiscovered Easter egg though. And the legend is that they dumped a whole bunch of games into a landfill, but I don't think when they went in that documentary with what's his name, George R. R. Martin, I don't think they actually discovered a whole truckload. I think they found like maybe one game. So I don't know if that's an urban legend or if that's, oh man.
Yeah, I'm going to go with B because
I think I am too.
Because the truckload thing, when he said it, I remember that being said, and then and he helped me out with that last one, Jerry. I appreciate it.
Oh, nuts.
I know, not much of a strategist over here, Jerry, but a good guy.
I just trying to think out loud, and it's definitely to my detriment, but I think it's actually B as well.
You're about as good a strategist as I am a liar because you both got it right. You spotted the lie pretty quickly.
You know what? That just means you're a very honest person, and that's a good thing.
Yeah.
All right. So halfway through round 1, let's see. We have 5 points for Jerry and 4 for Todd. So pretty close game so far. As we turn to question 7, which focuses on the Cabbage Patch Kids. And they were such a craze that reached its height in 1982 and 82 and 83. According to a 1983 article in Time magazine, it describes these things. 1, the Consumer Affairs Department of Nassau County in New York accused the parent company, Coleco, of, quote, harassing children by advertising dolls that weren't actually available. B, a woman suffered a broken leg when a group of Cabbage Patch Kid hopeful shoppers turned into a violent mob at a Zayre store in Pennsylvania. Or C, a cargo plane coming from Hong Kong loaded with Cabbage Patch Kids survived an attempted hijacking.
Oh, boy.
Yeah. Maybe I'll try not to be so
I'll go first
in my thoughts. Okay,
I'll go first on this one, Jerry. Just so I'm just gonna sit back and see what you think the whole time. But the hijacking one seems really crazy, but it was the 1980s, and planes got hijacked about every 1 in 3. I think was the statistic I saw. But I know I got in some legal trouble for stuff. I'm gonna go with the hijacking is the lie. That's the one I'm going to go with.
So I know that Coleco was accused of actually short shipping, like purposely short shipping Cabbage Patch Kids. Of course, they denied it. But I think industry insiders actually showed that they did. I don't know if they were accused of anything else. I think I'm gonna go with A.
So you think the lie is that the Consumer Affairs Department said they were harassing children?
Yes.
Okay, we're locked in on our answers.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right, then I'm pleased. Now you didn't both get the correct answer this time. The one of you who did was Todd.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, there was no attempted hijacking. But yeah, they actually did say they were harassing children. And I think everyone knows the thing about the broken leg is true. The actual term for this was the Cabbage Patch Kid riots. This wasn't the only incident. Those things broke out all over the place.
Yeah.
And then nowadays, that just sounds like a normal Good Friday sale at Walmart.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, that's why everybody shops online now on Black Friday.
Mm-hmm. Okay, question 8. We're going to go back to the world of music. The music industry in 1980 gave us several questionable novelty Christmas songs. And these were all singles, including which of these? A, Merry Christmas in the NFL, a song that imagined Howard Cosell as Santa Claus. B, Gag Me with a Candy Cane, a song featuring phrases inspired by the Valley Girl culture. Or C, What Can You Get a Wookiee for Christmas, a Star Wars themed Christmas song.
I'm going to go with the NFL one because it's kind of the one that feels like the outlier because of the Frank Zappa song being so close to it seems like a parody that someone would pull off. And then with the Star Wars holiday special and Star Wars being such a popular thing, I could see the Wookiee song being true. So I'm going to go with Howard Cosell as Santa Claus. The Wookiee song
is definitely true. That's from an album with Bon Jovi's first musical appearance. Mm-hmm. So it's I'm going to go with B. I think it's Gag Me with the Candy Cane.
Okay, are we locking them in?
We'll lock them in.
All right, and Gerry had a 1-point lead up until now, and now he has a 2-point lead.
All right.
Total score is 7-5. There was no Gag Me with a Candy Cane, and you're absolutely correct that the full name of the song was What Can You Get a Wookiee for Christmas, parentheses, when he already has a comb, from an album called Christmas in the Stars, a tribute to Star Wars. Yeah. And yeah, there was a song on it called, I believe it's R2-D2, We Wish You a Merry Christmas. Where the vocals were by a young man who wasn't John Bon Jovi yet. He was going by his birth name, which isn't John Bon Jovi. Right. I think he was like a college kid at the time. This is all on YouTube, by the way. You can look it up if you like. I wouldn't recommend it. It's absolutely terrible.
It's it's a interesting album, and that's as polite as I can say it.
Those kinds of novelty albums were big in the 80s. Do you guys remember Pac-Man Fever?
Yes.
I do.
Or Disco Duck. I think that was a
Disco
70s
Duck,
thing,
yeah.
Those kinds of records. It's in the same lineage.
Like Super Bowl Shuffle, that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So Merry Christmas in the NFL. I haven't heard it, but I can confirm it actually exists. And Howard Cosell just did not like it at all.
I imagine not. Just like Gag Me with the Candy Cane. I could just hear that being on like Dr. Demento or something like that.
Yeah. Well, you're a bass player, Todd. You can write that yourself.
There we go.
There you go.
That's what I'm going to do.
Okay, let's go to everyone's favorite Christmas movie from 1983, A Christmas Story. It's one of the most popular Christmas movies nowadays. Here are 3 things about it. Spot the lie. Was it A, the Red Ryder BB gun used in the movie is the actual gun owned by author Gene Shepard, the author of the autobiographical short story that the movie is based on? B, the studio would only finance the movie if director Bob Clark agreed to make a horror movie afterwards? Or C, Jack Nicholson was at one point considered for the role of Ralphie's father, but his fee was too high?
I believe C is correct.
Mm-hmm. And I think B is too. I think it's A. I don't think it was his actual Red Ryder BB gun.
That's what I'm going with.
Okay, you both seem pretty confident, and that is because you're both correct. A was the lie. It was probably just a movie prop, but whatever.
I understand how you feel. That's how bad I lost, or I was losing the last time. So
just to recap, the only one who doesn't have any points on the board so far is yours truly. Gerry has 8. Todd has, what do you have, 5? Yeah, 5. Do you have 5? I might have lost count. Well, I'm going to.
I think he has 6 because
I
forgot.
it was a 2 point.
Okay, glad I asked. Okay. So let's see. Question 10, just a couple more left in this round. And we're going to talk about Ziggy. Remember Ziggy, the comic book character?
Such a great,
There
great
was
character.
a 24-minute short feature called Ziggy's Gift, which came out in 1982. Here are 3 things about it. A, Ziggy doesn't speak at all in the special, even though he does speak in the comic strip. B, the other characters have voices, including the voice of Ziggy's dog, which was provided by Paul Hogan, who just 5 years later would star in Crocodile Dundee. Or C, the special won an Emmy.
I think it's A, because while he doesn't actually speak when they're singing or pretending to carol, so that the cop doesn't break them up, you can actually hear his voice. It's very soft, but it's actually there. So I'm going to go with A.
That's the one I'm going to go with too. It's been a while since I've seen it, but I thought there was a little bit of that in there.
Okay, I think we might have a problem on our hands. And here's why, because that one, as far as I know, was true. And I got that from the IMDb. But if you guys have firsthand experience saying you can hear it, I think for the first time ever, we might have to award half points.
Oh, no, we broke the system.
And the false one that I just made up out of thin air was the voice of Ziggy's dog being done by Paul Hogan. So I'm going to award everybody a half point.
Yes.
This makes no sense, but it does. It sort of does. So Gerry has half a point, inclling myself, by the way.
Yes, you should.
Yep. Sort of. All right. That just made things very interesting.
Well, that's fine, because doing some research of mine, I found conflicting information on different things. So I just kind of went with what like the plurality. You know, so.
It's going to be interesting.
The lowest common denominator.
Right.
Okay, question 11. Here are some other questionable cartoon specials from the early 1980s. Which of these is not an actual cartoon special? Number A, a 1980 special called A Snow White Christmas, in which the character of Snow White has a daughter who is also named Snow White. Is it B, in 1981, the special BC, A Special Christmas, one that was based on the caveman characters from the popular comic strip? Or was it 1983's Christmas Comes to Wee High, an animated special based on the teen sitcom Square Pegs?
Oof.
I'm going to roll with Snow White.
I know there was a Snow White Christmas, but I don't know if her daughter's name is Snow White. There definitely was a BC Christmas.
Yeah, I know the BC one.
Oh man, the last one. Gosh. Okay. I think I'm going to go with C.
You think C is the fake one?
Yeah, the Square Pegs one.
Okay,
Maybe.
Todd, are you locking in your answer?
Yeah, I'm going with Snow White.
Okay, so then I can give a point to Gerry.
Gerry.
You spotted the fake one. So that Snow White Christmas was not a Disney special, by the way. It was just some other studio put it out.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I think we kind of need to talk about that BC special Christmas, because apparently that thing, went through several meetings with network executives and got made and aired, even though the very concept of it made no sense. I think it was more like they were coming up, a couple of the characters were trying to devise a legend about giving or something like that. And what they came up with was Santa Claus.
It is funny because it's BC, so
yeah, exactly.
Celebrate Christmas.
Yeah,
but hey, I mean, I haven't seen it. I remember. I have vague recollections of reading seeing in like TV guides or something, but I've never actually seen the special. I just know that it exists.
Yeah,
which luckily for me was all I needed for this question.
Yeah. I'm with you, Gerry. I've never seen it. I kind of remember it, but I do remember like BC being like the second or third comic I would read on Sundays when the newspaper would come.
Yeah, it was definitely one of my favorites. Yeah.
I remember on Sundays it would be in color, and that was then we put Silly Putty on the newspaper.
Yeah, you get the whole comics section. It was 4, 5, 6 pages worth
Drabble
of color
and
comics.
Hagar the Horrible, and
Rose is Rose and Family Circus, all those guys.
Oh yeah,
so good, so good. Kids, there used to be papers.
So there was a BC video game, believe it or not, for the Commodore 64 computer. Like, this is how old I am. It came on a floppy disk. And the Commodore 64 was the kind of, you plugged into your TV, right? The computer was sort of like the keyboard.
Right.
And you would attach it to the back of the television. And then we had a floppy disk drive. And I forget what the game was, but one of the characters rode on a wheel, kind of like a unicycle. It was a wheel with like an axle, like a stone wheel. And you could stand on either end of the protruding axle and just ride it around. And I think, it's like you have to jump over things and collect points or something like that.
That's so cool.
Sounds great.
That does sound amazing.
It was pretty good.
I miss little games. I mean, nowadays, all the games are, like ridiculously complex and open world stuff, but I like those side scrollers. They're just so much fun. And
I wonder if that would be on the Internet Archive, like in the Wayback Machine. All those old games. Yeah, I'm going to look that up after.
Yeah, could be.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we had some good, like the old Oregon Trail and
oh man.
There was another one we played all the time, like all the Donkey Kong. Oh, there was a Ghostbusters one where at the end you had to defeat the Marshmallow Man.
Mm-hmm. I remember that one. I want to say Kroll had one, but I don't remember if that was for Commodore or for Atari.
Yeah. I had the Raiders of the Lost Ark for the Atari, and I played that all the time.
Nice.
Oh, there was one that was similar to that. It's called like Chisholm Trail or something like that, like CHISOLM. And the character looked very much like Indiana Jones and had to do all kinds of, somersaults and escaping rocks and stuff like that.
I remember that one. That one was super cool.
Yeah. Okay, so we're going to bring round 1 to an end with question 12. It involves the 1983 slasher movie Bloodbeat, which I know is a favorite of both of yours, in which a young couple attends a family Christmas gathering in a farmhouse in rural Wisconsin when a ghost wearing samurai armor begins killing members of the family. I promise you, this is a real movie, and it is available for streaming on Amazon Prime.
Okay. I'll be doing that once we get off.
I was thinking that too. It's like, I have a day off on Friday. It's going to be great.
Now, the movie, as you shocker of shockers, didn't get excellent reviews. I'm going to read to you 3 reviews, one of which is false. Spot the lie. Was it A? One reviewer called it, quote, essentially an 86-minute non sequitur. Was it B? Viewers will find themselves wishing they could rewind to get back the lost minutes of their lives spent watching. Or was it C? Like a nice fluffy blanket on a chilly winter night, the film lulled me into its grasp with every illogical turn.
I could totally see, I could see a horror fanatic actually writing that. Oh man, this is, this is just a complete guess here. Like zero logic, nothing. Just, I'm going to go with B.
I'm rolling with A. And that's just a complete guess.
Okay, so we're locking in with those, and we're closing out round 1 by awarding 1 more point to Gerry.
Whoa!
All right.
Oh man! So I think this is like the most points I've ever had.
It just may be. So what do we have? 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.5 points for Gerry to end round 1. Todd has 6.5 points, and Brian has 1/2 of 1 point. So in my round is trying to stump both of you. I didn't do an excellent job, but I get a chance to redeem myself in the upcoming 2 rounds.
So how did you do? Better than you expected, I'll bet. Now, of course, in this round, you'd expect my point tally to be low. The only way for me to earn a point was to fool Todd and Gerry. So do I start racking up the points in the next round? Well, to find out, I'm going to put you in the very capable hands of my friend Todd Killian over at Christmas Clatter. Check the show notes for a link, or just look up Christmas Clatter wherever and however you get your podcasts. Hey, before I go, I want to let you know that it's never too early to send a Christmas memory to appear on the show this season. In fact, the earlier the better. Even if you've sent one in the past, I'd love to include another. Just record a voice memo on your phone and send it to christmaspastpodcast@gmail.com. Keep it reasonably short, clean, and family-friendly, and be sure to say your name and where you're from. I'll be back again soon. Until then, let me remind you that Christmas Past is produced in wonderful Willow Glen, California by yours truly, Brian Earl. One of the things I love to do to get into the Christmas spirit is to send Christmas cards, and I'd love to send one to you. If you review the podcast on Apple Podcasts, I'll send you a handwritten Christmas card and an official Christmas Past sticker as my way of saying thanks. Email for details on that.
Again, it's christmaspastpodcast@gmail.com. You can also use that email address to just write and say hi. I love hearing from you, and I try to respond to every message I get. If you're not an email person, well, you can find me on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. And please do join the private Christmas Past Facebook group if you haven't yet, so that we can keep celebrating all season long. Until we meet again, may your days be merry and bright.